one day, and as soon as the boat went out, just a little bit, there she is. She does a full breach and comes down, and everybody in the boat runs to the front, of course, to take the video and the picture. And I was one of those people too. But when I ran to the front of the boat, I was full body chills. I'm like, oh my God, that's her. That's Claire. Oh my God.
Welcome to Conversation for the Soul. I'm Linda Christine. Today, I have a conversation with Kimberly Rose. Kimberly is a high priestess. She is an animal communicator. She is a medium. She is amazing. Her story is so very powerful, how her awakening came about in the early 2000s and how she went through a narcissistic marriage in order to get to where she is today. She has some wonderful stories to share. And as I always say, these stories make great teachers, and we can all learn so much through everybody's story, including Kimberly's today. So please, please like, share, and subscribe. Share these away with all your friends so all these beautiful stories can get heard. And without further ado, we will get to our conversation with Kimberly Rose. Welcome, Kimberly. It's so wonderful to have you here today.
Thank you.
I came across Kimberly on social media, as I do with everybody that I have on here. And your profile really intrigued me. We have a high priestess, medium, animal communicator, medical intuitive, energy healer, author. This is exciting. How did you come to be this expansive spirit that you are, Kimberly?
Well, it started off in the beginning, you have your awakening experience and things just kind of happen. But I'm a spiritual teacher as well, and I have students, and I explain to them that the more that you listen to your guidance and you do what you're guided to do, the more the universe will bring you. So they give you like an assignment to, like, I'll give an example. When I first started out on my journey, I learned how to do reconnective healing. And reconnective healing is when you allow spirit to use your body as the vessel to do the healing work. And I went ahead and I did that, and I had clients, and I enjoyed working with the energy. And then most people were into Reiki. Reiki was like the number one healing modality at the time, and it's pretty popular now. And I took Reiki, and I learned all about Reiki and how that worked. And it was really no different, just a little different about channeling the light and the energy. So I did that for a little while. And there were other healing modalities that came forward for me. And I was interested in taking them. They sound intriguing, and I was intrigued by it. I wanted to learn more. But my guides said, no more. We don't want you to learn any more healing modalities because we have something else in store for you. So I just listened to my guidance, that's what they said. I'm like, okay, no more. I went on a trip. I've been awakened since 2006. I've been an intuitive my entire life. But in 2006 is when I had a big awakening and everything started happening.
What was that? How did it occur for you?
How did it manifest? I was married at the time, and I was not in a good marriage. He was a narcissist, lot of emotional abuse. It's hard. I'm pretty much over it because it was so long ago. And it was during that time, there were so many things happening to me that I couldn't explain. And I would go to certain meetup groups and certain circles to understand what was happening to me. I couldn't understand why I felt spirit touching me. I felt them touching my hair. I would see things in my room at night. I would hear things. I'd be laying in bed, completely asleep. And all of a sudden I heard furniture moving. Now, I lived in a one-story, single-story house, and I sat up in bed, and I'm like, oh, my God, there's people out in the living room moving furniture. My husband at the time got up. He got up, and he got dressed, and he he like got his gun and he went in the living room to see what was going on. And there was nothing there.
Was he hearing it or just you?
Just me. Just me. And this went on for a while. I lay back and down to go to sleep, and I'd still hear the furniture moving across the floor. So things like that would happen. There was another time when I was laying in bed and I felt little children jumping on the bed. Now, my husband, again, sleeping next to me, do you feel that? There's somebody jumping on the bed. No, he didn't even notice. No, nothing. Leave me alone, Kim. I got to go back to sleep. I got to go to work tomorrow. I'm like, okay. But I would keep feeling it, and I kept feeling them on me and everything. And I would go to people, and nobody really could help me at the time because in 2006, there was only a small amount of people that were awake. And I really, I would get drips and drabs or little nuggets of information that kind of resonated with me, but other things that other people would say, be like, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think so. That doesn't feel right. But what I had figured out, those children that were jumping on me on the bed were my children from a past life that were visiting me in this life. They stayed with me for a while. They have now since incarnated in other lifetimes. But in my most recent past life that I had prior to this life, I had children. And we all died in a car crash. And I learned that they died, and I had visions of this while I was working. We get these past life visions when we're doing other things, okay? So we all died in a car crash. We went over a cliff. And when we went to the hospital and everything, and this was like I think in the 40s in Montana. That's what I kind of got. It's like, it was we went off a mountain, off a cliff. And when I went to the hospital, we went to the hospital, I learned that the children died and I was still alive. And then after learning that my children died and I didn't get a chance to grieve, I died too. My grief was I died too. I didn't want to live because my children died. So they came back to me in this life to reconnect with me because they missed their mom. They were waiting for that opportunity to come and connect back with me while I was having my awakening experience, because when they came to me before, I didn't know they were there. So they would come and they would jump on the bed, and I knew their names. It was Jessica and Jeremiah. Jeremiah was a newborn baby. Back, I guess, in the 40s, they used to wrap the babies up in a swath and like a towel. So he was in a towel, but I would see his little spirit, jumping around. He'd follow his big sister, and his sister's name was Jessica. And she was 8 years old, and she stayed with me for a long time. I mean, I'd be out places and I'd feel this breath on my arm. And I'm like, what is that? It's me, Mama, I hear. It's me, Jessica. So that was part of my awakening experience. I had other things happen because he was abusive. He carried a lot of anger. So that anger was like projected at me all the time. And I'm an empath, so I feel everything. So that was like, whoo, okay, wake up. We're in a new world here. How do I handle this? What do I do? So I was kind of guided and led by spirit to seek more like-minded people, to be around more groups of people that understood me. But even being around some like minds, they didn't understand everything. They would patiently listen, but they didn't really quite grasp the experience that I was experiencing, because I had stuff happening all the time. There are all kinds of spirits in my house, and I've always been clairvoyant. I've always been clairaudient. Even before my awakening experience, I was an intuitive my whole life. I just didn't know I was. I just thought that was kind of normal, to talk to spirits. So when I had that big awakening experience around that time when I was in that abusive marriage, everything was like, Okay, boom, boom, this, that, this, that. I sit in my house and I see spirits coming and going all the time. There was this one spirit couple that stood by my bookcase for the longest time. I think their names were George and Martha and Billy. There were three of them, and they were like from the 1800s. And I asked them, I said, why don't you go over to the light? No, we like it here. We like your light. We want to stay. We won't cause you any harm. We won't be in the way. I said, okay, you can stay. So I lived with it for a while, and spirits will travel with you. So, like, say you are spooked or scared, something happened to you. You saw a spirit in your house, and you pack all your bags and you go. Well, guess what? They're going to go with you. These George, Martha, and Billy came with me, different, from different households. I don't think they're here with me now. I'm I'm very aware all the time, and I can see spirits all the time. I don't necessarily say it because it's part of my life.
Well, if you
But
see any behind me, I want to know because I do have some in my house and I haven't figured out who they are yet.
Okay, I see your spirit guides. I teach people how to connect with their spirit guides, and I when I first started on my journey, I read cards, but I in the beginning I did the cards, but then it got to a point where I wasn't looking at the cards; I was just reading energy. So, um, and then I put the cards away. I stopped doing that, and I started reading people's energy. So if I focus and let me look in your energy field. Oh, I see all your guides. You have a big
Yeah.
old, big old, big old team.
Yeah, there's a giant one that's always like stories high that's around me too.
You have a Sasquatch.
Yes.
Yes. Are you
Oh,
familiar?
Kimberly, you made my day. I love Sasquatch so
Yeah,
much.
you have a Sasquatch.
And
But
it's so funny. I have a Sasquatch thing that I'm creating in the process of creating too.
oh, really? Oh, wow. Well,
I
he's
don't want to
standing
share too
behind you.
much about it
Okay.
yet, but yeah.
I understand. I understand. But he's part of your team. He's large and he's hairy and he's behind you.
Oh, that
You know,
makes me so
very,
happy.
very gentle, sweet soul.
They all are. I believe they
Yeah,
all
they
are.
all are. They just have a different bodysuit. Same like with the animals. People ask me, well, what does my animal say? And I have a full-on conversation. It's just like me having a conversation with you. It's a soul having a conversation with a soul. They just have a different bodysuit. Now they might have different mannerisms to let you know certain things, but when I speak to them, I hear it in English, just like I'm talking to you.
Yeah, oh, that's great. I want to hear more about all of these things that you do. I just had an animal intuitive on a couple days ago, so I'd love to
Mhm.
hear your animal intuitive experiences.
Okay, what would you like to know?
Oh, and what's the most interesting one that stands out to you, communication that you've had?
Okay, well, I learned. Now this just came into my awareness. This being, this animal being has been with me from every lifetime since Lemuria. Okay, but they just came into my awareness, and I'm getting chills because I see her. She's here. She just came into my awareness a few years ago. She's an elder humpback whale, and she came into my awareness. Well, I've been communicating with her in my dream state. um, she tells me for lifetimes, and she said there's a handful of people that work with this one elder whale. She told me her name is Claire. Okay, so we all work together in the dream state, and we work on the earth, and we work on the energy and the earth grids to heal the earth. There's different assignments that we're doing all the time. So when Claire came into my awareness in 2017, I had a vision. And in this vision, I should go get the picture because I painted the vision. In the vision, I saw myself with my arms straight out. I saw my aura like a golden aura, and I saw my energy field around my physical body. Claire was right there, and I painted this, and her eye was right there. And it was almost like we were having a conversation. Now, when I had this vision with her in 2017, I had no idea that I communicate with a whale in my dream state. I had no idea that I known her since Lemuria. I just got this vision and I said, that was cool. Let me paint that. So I painted it. So lo and behold, all these years later in 2023, well, it's actually in 2022, I started getting these messages with Claire. She kept coming forward more often. And she wanted me to go to, she guided me and wanted me to go to Oahu, Hawaii. And okay, well, let me think about it. Let me see. Let's check my finances. Let me see. We can make this work. And I said, yeah, I think I can do that. And then I was looking for people to ask to go with. And I asked a couple of people and they couldn't go. They wanted to go, yeah. But when it comes down to paying for it and actually making the commitment, this is when the truth comes out. No, yeah. They can't go. They can't go. For one reason or another, they just couldn't go. So I was like, I can't find anyone to go. Then I got this message from my guides and they said, we want you to go solo. We don't want you to go with anybody. And I'm like, really? I want to go with somebody. I've never been there. And it's nice to have a human to talk to. I talk to spirit all the time, but it's nice to have a human to talk to. No, we want you to go alone because they had things lined up for me that they wanted me to do, that Claire was guiding me to do. Okay. So I went and certain things happened. I channel every night. I channeled with Claire every day. She had me, I went whale watching one day. And as soon as the boat went out, just a little bit, there she is. She does a full breach and comes down. And everybody in the boat runs to the front, of course, to take the video and the picture. And I was one of those people too. But when I ran to the front of the boat, I was full body chills. I'm like, oh my God, that's her. That's Claire. Oh my God. So I took all this video and then she came up and she put her pectoral fin and she's waving at me. And I'm getting that she's waving at me. Not just that there's a whale doing this. I'm getting that she's waving at me. So I'm like, okay, that was really something. And I'm just like full on body chills. And I'm just like, wow. So after we did the whale watching and I got lots of video footage and I took still pictures and stuff, I've got them on my phone, all these pictures and such. Afterwards, after we got off the boat, everybody went their own way. I talked to people and stuff while I was doing it because we were all very excited, but I didn't share anything about what I was getting. Sometimes we just keep those things to ourselves. So when we got off the boat and the boat docked, I drove around the island a little bit and found a little area, a grassy area to sit down and lay down and journal. I started to get a download from Claire and she told me that, she did that on purpose. She couldn't wait for me to be on the boat, to come into the water. So when she came out of the water, she told me that we were exchanging energy. Now, my subconscious knows this, but my physical etheric self does not know this till usually, and this always happens to me, I don't know about this until after the fact. Like I'm in the moment, we do what we're doing, we're doing what we feel like we're supposed to be doing, and then it's after the fact I got all this information. She told me when I was in Oahu that she said, if you go to the water's edge, and you put your feet in the water, we will come. Okay? I didn't go swimming in the ocean at all. I just didn't feel like putting a bathing suit on. That's just a girl thing sometimes.
I hear you.
I just drove around the island, but I would park the car and then go down to the water's edge and put my feet in the water. I would go like maybe 3 or 4 feet in with my legs. And I would see them full breaching out in the ocean. It was almost like a divine plan, like for me to get in the water and she would show up. So that did happen a couple of times. And I had other really interesting things happen with the whales and just with being in Hawaii. I was being called to Hawaii not only because of connecting with Claire and the whales. I was being called there to do energy work and do grid work and connect back to my homeland, Lemuria, because since being in Hawaii, now I went back again since then, so I have more to the story. Do you want to hear more to the story?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, okay, I'll back it up. So, when I came back from Oahu, there were a lot of areas that needed my light. Spirit got me lost on purpose, and I got mad, but I got over it. I got myself back in alignment, and I figured it out. And when you travel with somebody, you work together and you figure things out. I had to depend on me. Okay. So when I got in that, I got upset because I got lost somewhere that I wasn't familiar with. I I had to stop and breathe, come back to center, and Spirit had me go down to the beach. And when I got to the beach, I knew where I was. But they had me get lost on purpose. They had me get lost because the area that I was in was very depressed and needed my light. So with me being there, being present there, I was able to share my light with that area. So now once I got back to the beach and went back to the condo, I was happy. I got back to the condo, and a lot of different things. I had lots of miraculous experiences happen on the island of Oahu, but that was part of the whale part, the Claire part. Okay, so when I came back from that trip, I didn't know what to think. I was like, wow, that was really something. Every time I go on a trip like that, it takes me a little while to come back and process everything that happened. It takes like about 3 weeks to a month. So when I finally came back to my life, and I felt like I was whole, because a lot of times I had done a lot of traveling all over Europe, all over the world. And when I come back, I feel like part of my soul is still there, and it takes a while for it to come fully back intact in my physical vessel. So I'm back, and I'm one of my girlfriends. I was talking to her on the phone. She says, "How was the trip?" I said, "It was good." She goes, "You're going to be going back." And I go, I don't know. I don't think so. Well, lo and behold, a week later, I got another message from Claire. She says, "I want you to come back. I want you to come to Maui. I want you to come to Maui." And she and the animals will do this, because my kitty cat did the same thing. They start planting things in your head. They start planning it, and then you start doing it. So she planned the whole Maui trip. She had me go on a swim with the whales retreat with this woman. And I went on the retreat, and it was a good retreat. And every day we were in the water with the whales. This one particular day, everyone was laying out on the boat. And I got this really strong message: "Kim, you need to go in the water. We need you to go in the water right now." And I'm like, okay. So I had to put my wetsuit on. It's Hawaii. Most people go in naked. I had to put a wetsuit on. I get cold easily. So
Florida girls do.
Yeah. So I put my wetsuit on, and I got in the water. And in the bay where the whales come, they come from Alaska, and they come into Hawaii to mate. And I was just floating around in the water. I was getting that message. I thought that Claire and the whales would be very close to the boat, but they weren't. But I can hear them singing. I can hear the whale song when I was floating in the water. And I'm just floating there. I dove down a couple times. And I just kind of floated. I was like, okay, well, I don't know why they wanted me to get in the water right now, but I just kind of do what I'm told. So I got out of the water, and I got on the boat. And I would say maybe there were 9 whales that were swimming around the boat. One by one, full breach, up, down, full breach. And then over here, up, down, full breach, 9 times, all the way around the boat. The message I got was they were thanking me for sharing my light in the water. I didn't know this at the time. Like I said, I'm always find out after the fact. But Claire came, and she brought her friends to all receive my light. And they came up, and they did full breach, and then they came back in the water. But when I have full-on conversations with Claire, I hear her like I'm speaking to you. I'm in the process right now. I'm writing a book with her, and it's all channeled. It's with Claire, but it's also with the Palladian Star Mothers. And I'm also channeling Adama. He's the high priest from Lemuria. So it's the three of them I'm channeling for the book. And it's like I don't even know until I sit down to write, and then the information just comes through. But it doesn't always come through automatically all the time, but most of the time it does that way. So that's really, I just follow when well, like my experience with Claire, it's like a feeling, it's like a knowing, and then I hear her, and then I see her, then I physically see her come full out of the water in full breach. I was just like amazed at the whole time I was there, my mouth was hanging open. I saw tons of butterflies, and all the butterflies were talking to me. And then there were so many things. It was so magical. It's such a magical place.
It is. It really is. I'm very drawn to the Big Island. I've been to Oahu, but I wasn't as, I hadn't stepped into my full intuitive self at that point. But the Big Island, I just love. But, you bring up a really good point, Kimberly, that I don't want to get lost on people, because when we're doing this work, it's like sometimes it's just you holding your light and being in a place that is healing, that is enriching. And everybody wants to do these fantastical things. And sometimes it's just that simple. It doesn't have to be some grand, complex thing.
Right. You just have to be present and listen and allow and move out of the way. When the stuff comes through, just do. Like I get nudged to do things. I got nudged to go to Hawaii. I didn't think about the finances or anything like that. I arranged everything. I just kind of did it because this is what was expected of me. I'm not going to say expected. It's written in your soul contract, and you move forward and you do what you're guided to do. It's a feeling. It's a feeling, and you just allow the feeling to take place. You just just stay in motion. You
just
stay
follow it. Just get in that flow and let it unfold.
Right. And so that's how the whole Hawaii thing was. And that whole thing started with the whole Claire experience with meeting this elder whale. And I had asked her, I said, have you always been a whale? She says, yes, I have. I live a lot of years, and I kept coming back as a whale because we have as a cetacean nation. She is the queen whale of the cetacean nation. They all have a role. They get their information from star Sirius, okay? And they have a role that they play on this earth, and they stand true to it. Now, if some kind of obstacle should happen and something happens, they beach themselves, or they die, or they leave the earth earlier than planned, then another pod member will take on the role and the mission and follow through with the mission. Another thing with the whales and the cetaceans and a lot of animals, because my cats do this, they are multidimensional. They can come in and out, and they like, I have a little black cat. He sometimes comes with me in the car, and I can see him in the car, and he goes with me wherever I'm going. And then when I come home, he's very, very a friendly cat, and he meets me at the door like a dog. It meets me at the door every time I leave and come home. He meets me at the door.
Is this an etheric cat or a real cat?
This is a real cat. And I'm surprised he's not here right now, because he usually plops right here while I'm on the computer.
Yeah, mine does too. I'm surprised he's napping right now.
Right. So, but there's been a few times I come home, and he's usually at the door, waits for me at the door, and I come home, and there's been a couple of times where he's not at the door right away. And the reason being is because the soul's coming back in the body. Okay, now the soul's back in the body. Let me navigate. Oh, where am I? Okay, now I can come to her coming in the door. So there's like a delay. There's a delay because the soul is coming back in the body.
I just heard this from the Animal Communicator Friday. Same
Really?
thing. They fractal off and go to sometimes different cats and do things to help people and then come back. And
Yeah, they do. They do. Dogs do the same thing.
Wow.
All the animals do that because they want you to recognize, they want you to know that they're near. They want you to know that they haven't left you. They just left their physical body, that their energy, they're still around. They're still here,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you had asked me in the beginning like how this all came about. When I started on the journey, I had no clue. I just stay in the flow and keep doing, and the universe will bring you your new awakening or your new gifts or your new talents or abilities as you go. And they give it to you as they feel you need it.
How did you leave your marriage though? So you left your marriage and then how did all of this start coming in?
Ah, well, it was me that asked for the divorce because I just
Good
like,
for you, girl.
I'm not
Sounds
putting up
like
with
you
this
needed it.
anymore. Yeah, I had to. I just felt like I was walking around with a ball and chain. I wasn't getting anywhere. So,
Well, narcissist, how do you get anywhere? You don't.
right,
But
right.
crazy, you get to crazy pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I got to feel like I'm done with this. I'm done. I got things to do. I just felt like there was more to life than this. And I will tell you, it wasn't an easy thing to do because, you know, you're used to having that person around all the time, and then all of a sudden you don't have them. So that took some time to get used to that. But for 8 years, I have been working on me. So I worked on me, and I would um, honor and embrace anything new that came forward, and I would just seek out different avenues and look out and check out different things. And I did a lot of traveling. I traveled from 2017 to 2019. I traveled all over the world. And when I was being sent to travel all over the world, this is when I, you know, was sharing light. I didn't even know I was sharing light, but I was. And I was being called to do different things and to teach different classes and to try different things solo. Because when I did this traveling, I went solo, but I went on a group. So I started to meet all the people in the group, and then I would travel again and again and again. But each time that I did this another assignment or another task, the universe would give me more. Once I processed all that information, then they would give me more. Then they would give me more. They would give me more. 8 years I've been working on myself and being and on this journey solo. on the excuse me on the journey, and just now I'm starting to feel like I'm ready to date somebody now. And I have a twin flame, and that's a whole nother show.
Well, you know, a lot of people are on the precipice of this person they've had visions of,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like just right there ready to happen, but it hasn't happened yet.
Right. Well, I've met this person in the etheric realm already. We communicate telepathically, so I'm you know I'm familiar with the process, and I know a lot about the twin flame journey because I've been on the journey for 7 years. Um, but I
Where's
think
he at physically? Do you know?
I do know. I know he lives in my neighborhood. I know he's Hawaiian descent because I feel that I'm going to be going back again. He's also in the same level of consciousness that I am. I do know on this journey that the universe is not going to bring the two souls together until all the inner work is done first. So the karma all has to be healed. The inner work has to be done before they'll bring the two of you together. And you know, I know there's a lot of talk about twin flame, and people confuse twin flames with soulmate relationships. They're two totally different relationships. Um, but it's all about soul growth. And I know it's coming because I sense it. I can feel him. He can feel me. Twin flames are connected by a silvery blue cord that's attached to our hearts, and I can feel him and he can feel me. I do know when I was in Hawaii, and I don't know what the Hawaiians call it, but they shapeshift themselves into other animals and bugs and such.
Hmm.
And when I was in Maui, there was this little chameleon lizard that was on my suitcase. And we picked him up and I put him outside and he came back. And then he started talking to me. And I was like, that was my twin flame in the lizard's body. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, my world is like very, there's so much going on. And I keep a lot of it in because I don't know. You have to be discerning with who you share what with. Also,
Yeah.
the butterflies, they'll come in as butterflies. Now, so not only will animals go from body to body, humans do it too. I don't know what the kahuna calls it, but they do shapeshift into bugs. I've seen it numerous times.
Hmm. Wow.
It's interesting. Never a dull moment.
I love it. I love that. So let's talk about some of your high priestess stuff that you do. Tell me a little about that.
Okay, well, I think that everything that I do is under the umbrella of the high priestess. I know when I was in Lemuria, I recently had my DNA has been they what did they do? They opened up my DNA for me to remember more of my life in Lemuria, and I was a high priestess in Lemuria. And then after my lifetime in Lemuria, I was in Atlantis, and I was a high priestess in Atlantis. And then from Atlantis, I went to Egypt, and in Egypt, I was a high priestess in Egypt. Once you are that a high priestess, so to speak, or a priest, it's in your genetic makeup. It's part of who you are. And right now, during this time of this great transition of the new earth, many of us who were high priestesses back then are having our DNA, the codes released and opened, and we're becoming those beings of light once again. Um, a lot of the things that I do with the grid work that I do, that's part of the role of the high priestess. Being a Spirit gave me this new title. They call me a spiritual influencer. So being a spiritual influencer is again part of under that umbrella of being a high priestess, being the teacher, being the one that leads others, shows shows others who they are and how they can step into their greatness. You see, I just kind of stay in the flow and just allow spirit to work through me and to guide me in the direction that I need to be and place me where I need to be in different, places that either need my light or need something that I'm going to say or something that I'm going to share. That all falls under the role of the high priestess. I do have memories of when I have past life memories of being in Egypt. I have past life memories of being, I had some experiences when I was in Maui that came forward when I was there. I don't know if you want me to share all that.
Oh, it's very interesting. I am curious. I wonder if a lot of the very conscious folks right now that are on the planet are of all of these lineages, because it seems like I know I've had a lot of past lives from way back in the beginning, and it
Mm-hmm.
seems like a lot of us are like that. You certainly
Yes.
have had a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
What do you suppose that's attributed to right now, and how is that helping in everything unfold?
Well, before we come into these lives, we write a soul contract, and in that soul contract, we write what's going to happen, what time, where, what have you. All our past lives are all linear. It's all one life. It's like so I was a queen in Egypt. I'm bringing forward those queen aspects of myself now. So if you were a queen in Egypt or you were a king in Egypt, you're bringing those aspects of yourself. They're all coming alive again now. They've always been there. They've been laying dormant. But it's all coming alive now because it's real important for everybody to step into their role, what they chose to do now for this great transition that's happening on our earth. And once we realize, once these things are brought forward and we step into our full greatness, then we follow our guidance and move forward on that role. Like everybody has their own specific role. Okay, let me back it up. Okay, I'm very connected to Mary Magdalene. I wrote a Mary Magdalene book. Everybody that is connected to the Rose, who is a Rose sister, so to speak, carries a soul aspect of Mary Magdalene. So I'm just going to use Mary Magdalene as the example, but this happens with many beings of light, with Yeshua, with Saint Germain, with many ascended master teachers, okay? You carry that soul aspect of that being of light. You are bringing forward, and you decided before you came into this life, what role were you going to do to bring forward parts of Mary? So if you notice, everybody that is speaking about Mary Magdalene, their seminars about Mary Magdalene, they're all bringing forth a different piece of Mary to bring back a piece of the whole. So Mary explains it like, think of it like everyone's a little drop of water, okay? And this drop of water is coming together in one vast pot of water to make a whole. So you're bringing different parts of Mary or different parts of Yeshua together, and you all have your own unique special role to come together as one, to work together as one, to bring one unified field of consciousness. Okay, one unified field of Christ consciousness. There's little bits and pieces, and everybody has their own unique role. There's no one role that's exact. Everybody's different, but all this uniqueness is coming together as one. So if you have something comes forward for you and something really resonates with you, follow what you feel. Follow what you feel. Follow what resonates with you in your heart. Then you know you're on the right path. Then you know you're going for you're in alignment with who you are. If it doesn't feel good, Mary always says this, if it doesn't feel good, then it's not for you. It's not for you. You stay, whatever feels good to you in your heart, follow your heart. Then you know you're on the right track. You're bringing bliss. And Abraham says this, you're in alignment with who you are. You're staying in the vortex. That's another way to put it. So if it feels good, just stay there, and then you know you're in the right path. Now, if you might come across a picture of Priestess Isis, and you're so familiar and you're so connected and you feel like you want to do more with Priestess Isis, that's the path you're going to follow. And then you want to learn more about her, and then your guides will bring that forward, and you'll be stepping into your role. Because I run into a lot of people like, I don't know, what am I supposed to be doing? How am I supposed to know? You follow what feels right for you in your heart. What resonates with you? You follow that path.
So perfect. So perfect. So do you ever, Kimberly, look ahead, like in your channelings or anything? Do you ever look ahead at what potentials may be in front of us?
I do.
Would you be open to sharing any of that today?
No.
Okay.
It's not like, just ask me something and I'll answer you.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody that I've been talking to in our community feels like there's another shoe that's getting ready to drop. They're feeling this sense of, something's going to happen. I know it's just right there, ready to happen. What is that about?
Okay. This is what I received. They're trying to use all this fear to keep everybody down. Many of us are elevating and many of us are ascending, and they're using fear tactics to keep us down. There's going to be another lockdown. They are trying to enforce us to wear the masks again. They're going to come up with another virus. There's going to be another lockdown. So it's really important for everybody to prepare. Prepare like you buy extra things in your house that you use on a regular basis. Prepare like you're getting, like a hurricane is coming. Prepare like there's a big storm coming, because it really is kind of like a big storm coming.
A
Because what they're
shitstorm.
trying to do is they're trying to keep us down, keep us quiet. But you did this to us already in 2020. I don't know if you're going to do that to us again, because I don't comply.
No, that's all I've been seeing online is people like, nope, I'm not complying. I'm not, nope.
Yeah. And I didn't really believe it the first time, but I went along with it, but I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah, I'm with you, sister.
Yeah. So, yeah. So we have another question.
So what, this is good. I should have thought about this ahead of time. What is, talk a little bit about your views on this new earth, because there's so many ways of thinking about it. Like there's actually going to be a split or a dimensional split, or people are going to be offloaded to another planet. There's so many theories out there of how this new earth shift is going to take place. What have you learned about that?
Okay, what I feel is going to happen is it's going to be the same earth. But what I feel is, though, those of us who have been doing the work and who are awakened, we are going to continue to elevate. It's going to be in a higher dimension, in a higher field. We're not going to be transported to another planet. It's going to be this planet. Mother Gaia is in the process of rebirthing and renewing and all of that now. Hence why all the disasters are happening. But yes, a lot of the disasters are man-made. They're not natural disasters. But it's still all part of the divine plan. It has to take place in order for, the dark has to happen for the light to come in. It's a balance. And the earth, Mother Gaia, like I said, is renewing and rebirthing, and we are going to be in a different dimension. And it's going to be all heart-based, all love-based, all unconditional love. No more ego, no more lower vibrating feelings or emotions of any of that factor. Yes, we'll still have emotions, but there won't be any judgment or lower vibrating energies attached to it.
Will we see this in our lifetime?
Let me see. Yes, I'm getting yes.
I'm looking forward to that.
I am too. Very much so. Very much so.
Yep.
I'm getting that it'll be more towards the end of my life, but we will be able to. We will be here to experience it. Yes.
Well, that would be nice because a lot of us have put in a lot of work and are going to continue to put in the work. Yes, so it would be nice to see that come to fruition.
Yes, I would love to too, because I've had that same conversation with spirits.
I think a lot of people have.
Yeah.
So are we going to be able to get rid of the elites? Are we going to be able to squash their little, we want to jab everybody, we want to get everybody locked down again? Are we going to be able to override that so then their game no longer exists, basically?
Okay, it's up to the people. It's up for the people to stand up and just say, I'm not going to take this anymore. On the other side, they're saying it can go either way. If people don't comply and people stand up for their sovereignty and stand up for what they believe, yes, they'll go away. But we, as a people, as a collective, we have to make it happen. Spirit's not going to make it happen. The ETs are not going to make it happen. They're here for our support, but we have to make it happen. We have to stand up, speak out, do our part, whatever way we feel comfortable. I don't know. I'm not the kind of person to go out into the battlefield, but I'll work from above energetically. I mean, you just do what you feel, what feels right for you. But I still won't wear a mask in public, so that's the way that goes.
I will not wear a mask either.
Oh,
Everybody raise your hand right now.
you can't make me. No, I'm
Well,
not.
and even when they've come out and said in the mainstream media multiple times that they don't do anything, but yet I can't even go there.
Yeah, no, there's a lot I know, but I'm not going to share it publicly.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
it's just better. But for me, how I handle it, and I see things from the higher perspective. I'm neutral because I see what's happening here and I see what's happening here. And for me to speak out and be a part of is not my role. I have, but I do like look and I see, and if somebody asks me, I'm pretty discerning on what I share and what I don't share. But I just try to see things from a higher view and then just send love and light around both situations so the highest and best will rise. So, and one thing, and I'm going to be posting it probably really soon on Facebook, and it's come up before, and I've used it before, and I'm feeling it again and again and again because I have to be reminded too. I'm not obsolete from this equation. Okay. We're still human. So let me think of what the saying is. Observe, but don't absorb, and don't engage. Because when you engage, you're putting your energy in there and you're going to get more of it back. And then it's going to keep growing and growing and growing, and it's going to be heated and heated and heated. You want to stay clear of that. You want to stay clear of that. There's been times I've wanted to comment on things, and I have Mary Magdalene come in and say, "No, Kim, no." Okay. And I'm grateful for this connection because I need to be told no. you know, if we're human, we get worked up. We're emotional. We get our emotions attached to it. But if you can retract and come back, take a breath. I'm not engaging in that. That's not my deal. I'm here for another reason. So I think it's really important to not allow yourself to getting consumed with that because you just create more. You'll bring more of that to you and you'll stay heated inside. And you don't want to be that way. You want to stay in your highest and best. You want to stay in alignment with who you are. You want to stay with the light.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Sorry about that. My phone went off. What advice can you give people for when all of this comes up again, that aside from staying neutral, what else can we do as a society to rise up without creating too much additional anger and conflict and that sort of thing?
You have to do what feels right for you. I shared what feels right for me. I am to be neutral, but that's my role. If you feel that you have to be out there and protest and speak your mind and all of that, by all means do that. um, but if you feel that you're not that person to be on the boots on the ground activating, follow what feels right for you on the inside. I know I'm supposed to be neutral, but there may be times where I'm out there with the sign too. I don't know. I live my life with how I feel on the inside. So you have to trust what feels right for you on the inside. Trust what you feel. Go with what you feel. And don't allow, well, another quote that Spirit always says, always trust what you feel from the inside and not be influenced what's happening on the outside. So you have, in other words, trust your gut, trust your own self, your own inner feelings.
Beautiful advice. Thank you so much, Kimberly.
Oh, you're welcome.
Let's tell people what you have going on and where they can find you. And I will also share that information in the description below.
Okay. I have a few projects happening, events happening. I share high vibrational quantum light, and I'm being guided to share it in sound bath healing. So I have many scheduled for this month, all through the end of the year, usually on a Monday nights. My office is at Blissful Beginnings in Pinellas Park, Florida. I don't have the address right offhand. My website is indivinetime.com. Also, I go by the name of Kim Cintio. Kimberly Rose is my Facebook name or my pen name. I also have a animal, what am I calling it? Be Beyond the Rainbow Bridge. It's an animal message event that I'm having, a group. I'm inviting everyone to come to bring pictures of their animals. I'll give you messages from your animals that have passed over, that have crossed over, and messages from your present life animal. So I ask you can, and in this office building, you can bring your animal. So if you want to bring your dog or your cat or your snake or your ferret, whatever you have, please, I welcome you to bring your animal. They're always welcome. And we have that message circle going. I also have an ongoing psychic development class that I teach. It's 6 weeks long. I'm in the process of teaching one now, but my next one that's coming up is September 30th until the middle of October. I think it's October 18th. They're on Saturday mornings at 10:30. I also have a psychic development class that I'm teaching on Zoom online. If those of you that can't make it on Saturday morning or you don't live in Florida, because that's where I live, I have a Zoom event starting, I think it's next Saturday, 9/18. If you go to my Facebook page, Kimberly Rose, you'll see all the events listed there. And also on my business page in Divine Time, they're listed there because I do all the marketing of the events that I do on social media, on Instagram as well. Let me see, what else do I have going on? I also wrote a book. This is my book, The Untold True Story of Mary Magdalene in Her Own Words. I'm going to be doing a book signing event over at my office space coming up really soon. I just have to get it on the calendar. I also, along with this book, as I have 4 teaching modules, and they're all of Mary's teachings. I'm going to be doing a workshop with Mary's teachings with the books as well at my office space. But like I said, if you go to my Facebook page, I market most of the classes on there. I do have them all listed. I'm in the process of redoing my website, so they're not listed on the website. They're more or less on Facebook right now. But when I get my website updated, everything will be on the website.
Awesome. Well, we'll make sure to include all that information below for everybody, Kimberly. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.